Right here I have the Amaran 60D, and in my other hand I have the Aputure Lightstorm 60D. Now, if you're not familiar with the Lightstorm versus Amaran, we're going to talk about that here in this video, but overall the Amaran is kind of more of a budget-friendly, content creator-focused series of lights, where the Lightstorm is kind of more geared towards the professional and indie filmmaker world because you're paying a little bit more. Between these two lights, the 60D is about $200 US, at least at the time of recording this, more expensive than the Amaran 60D. Now, they're pretty comparable in output, but there are a lot of differences between these two lights, and why I think, this is kind of an odd comparison, but I have them both, so I figured I'd make this, why I think this has a $200 premium and why it's justified, and kind of the things that I really like about this light over the Amaran, but also I'm going to talk about why you may not even need to pay that premium and just go ahead and go with the Amaran. Or maybe with that budget, pick up two of these instead of one of these. So yeah, kind of an odd comparison, but they both have the 60D moniker, and they are pretty comparable on output. So if you're searching for, a 60D like on Amazon or B&H or whatever, and you come across these two, you're gonna see that one of them's a little bit more expensive than the other. Well, why go for one over the other? So hopefully in this video, maybe I'll help you with that decision. Maybe we can help you out on your journey between these two lights, if in fact you're trying to decide between these two lights. So that being said, let's go ahead and start with the Lightstorm 60D and some of the features of this light that kind of justify that $200 premium over the Amaran light. All right, first off, let's talk about the build quality. The build quality of this Lightstorm 60D is much more premium feeling than the Amaran. You got, I think this is an aluminum chassis. It's definitely heavier, it's definitely bulkier, but it feels like a much more premium build than you would get from the Amaran. And with that, you are paying a premium. The Amaran is more of a plasticky build, but you're saving a few dollars there, so that's something to consider. Now, one thing that really sets this thing apart is the mounting. Now here you have a really professional yoke that tightens down really tight, and it's got this receiver here that fits on a baby pin of, say, a C-stand or a light stand or something like that. And this yoke is much, much stronger than the mounting system that you have with the Amaran 60D, which gives you the ability to mount heavier accessories on it, such as like the Light Dome or Light Dome SE, or maybe even the Light Dome 150 or a lantern or something like that. So you're just getting a much more high quality premium build where you can mount heavier accessories and stuff like that on it. Now the other thing is it has a weatherproof design. So all these connections right here have an IP rating. I think it's IP 67 or 68. But what that allows you to do is use it out in the elements, like say it's snowing outside or something like that. You have a weatherproof design, whereas the Amaran doesn't necessarily have that weatherproof design. So this gives you a little bit more peace of mind when weather is coming. If you still want to wrap your lights, which I still kind of recommend you doing, you can kind of hit these last and get your lights that don't have any protection on them. So that's something that's worth noting there. Now the other thing, and this is just specific to the Lightstorm 60D. The other light, like the 300Ds, they don't have this, but this is really awesome. It actually has a lens in here, and it's like a Fresnel-ish lens, which gives you the ability to have a flood and spot mode. So you can go from 45 degrees to 15 degrees by turning this little knob back here. And this is great because if you want to just crank out and focus as much light as you can into one area to maybe either put into like one of those CRLS or like a bounce card or something like that, you can put this in full spot and really focus that light as much as possible to get the most output out of it. But also if you want to do stuff like get light rays, or maybe you want to get a beam of light focusing down on a product or something like that for a reveal, well, you can get that down to full spot or back it out a little bit, and you're gonna have a really narrow beam of light coming down through that haze to get that volumetric lighting, whereas you can't really get that as well with the Amaran 60D with the included hyperreflector that comes with the Amaran light. So this little Fresnel type mechanism in here just really sets this thing apart, and like just in and of itself right there, kind of in my opinion, kind of justifies that $200 premium. Now, you also have these little mounts right here, and this allows you to either use the included barn doors that come with the LS 60D, or you can attach another adapter on the front of this that gives you the ability to attach Bowens S-mount accessories such as your light dome and your lantern and all that kind of good stuff. And lastly is the case that it comes with. It ships in a case very similar to that of like the 300D or the 300D Mark II or the 300X or something like that. And that's really important for working professionals, especially if you have a production van, like a grip van or a grip truck or something like that, and you keep your lights in there. Well, having something more of this premium case as opposed to what comes with the Amaran just kind of gives you more of a peace of mind that your lights and your fixtures are a little bit more protected, and it just has a little bit more room to fit your accessories and stuff like that. The case that the Amaran comes with is almost impossible to repack to bring it with you. So like as soon as I unboxed it, that's like the last time the light ever went back in, because I couldn't get the light and the lead and everything to fit back in there. So that was the last time. But these cases that come with the Lightstorm line of products are much more premium, and that is something that is worth noting. So those are the reasons why I think the price tag, that $200 premium, again, at the time of recording this, is justified over the Amaran 60D price tag. Because for working professionals and indie filmmakers and that of the sort, some of those features are just really important to us, especially with build quality and transport and all that kind of stuff. Because out in the field, gear just takes a lot more abuse than it would just sitting around in a studio. Now, that being said, this is not a bad light. The quality of both of these lights are fantastic, and that's something that you have to keep in mind. You're getting more premium features with this light, but you're still getting fantastic light quality coming from the Amaran 60D. So if you're a content creator and you are just focused on having a home studio, maybe in an office or bedroom or something like that, and you're leaving your lights up for good and they're not going anywhere, then 100% I would definitely just recommend going with the Amaran light. You're not going to need those premium features like the weatherproofing and the tougher case and all that kind of stuff with the Lightstorm, simply because you're just gonna keep them in the same spot, and there's no reason to pay that extra premium if you're not going to be transporting your lights and putting these on a bunch of stands and putting through different sets and all that kind of stuff. That's where I see this Amaran 60D being much more worth it for content creators, especially. And I'm saying content creators, but anywhere, like if you're a real estate agent and you're just filming videos in your office for your clients or whatever the case may be, pick up a couple of these. You can pick up 2 Amaran 60Ds for less than the price of one of these Lightstorm 60Ds. And that's really great because you can now have a key light, and then you can use the other light as an exposure lift in your room, or as a hair light, or a fill light, or whatever the case may be. Now, that's not to say the Amaran 60D can't be used in a professional setting. Of course it can, and I do. I bring it on set with me. On every production that I have, I'll bring this with me for specialty mounting and all that kind of stuff, just because of how lightweight it is. It's a fantastic light for mounting in obscure places and all that kind of stuff, and for travel. Like, if you're a travel documentary filmmaker, this is a fantastic light to bring with you because you can pack this in a backpack. Like, I went to Miami and shot a little mini doc, and this is the only light that I brought, and I brought it in my carry-on backpack with all my cameras and stuff and my clothes, and I was able to have enough light for an interview. This would have been way too big to bring with the case. I would have had to have checked it and all that kind of stuff. But with those professional features, I think those of you that are looking for those professional features, I think you know who you are. And if you don't think you need those professional features, then I would 100% at least start with the Amaran 60D and save that money and see if that's something that you would need in the future. You can always like rent these or something like that. But if you're just starting out, or if you're a content creator and all that kind of stuff, I think the Amaran is a better buy. But if you are looking for that kind of, this like Fresnel lens ability right here, all the barn doors and everything that come with it, if those professional features that I mentioned stand out to you, then I think you know that this light is for you. So there you have it. That's kind of what I think between these two lights. Like I said, I do think there are enough features and things about the Lightstorm 60D that justify that $200 premium over the Amaran 60D. But the Amaran 60D is no slouch, and in my opinion, I think it's kind of the king of its class when it comes to portability, output, and size, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, between the two, it's hard to recommend one over the other, because those of you that are looking for those professional features, and I think you know who you are, the Lightstorm 60D is a no-brainer over the Amaran 60D. But if some of these things don't really matter to you, and you're just gonna like leave it in a studio, definitely check out a couple of Amaran 60Ds over the Lightstorm. So hope you found that helpful or useful. I'm sure this was all over the place, kind of like all my other videos, but I don't write a script or like write notes. I just start talking. So that's what happens when we could be at 30 minutes right now. Who knows? Again, really appreciate you watching. Hope you found it helpful or useful. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. Maybe subscribe if you haven't already. If you're already subscribed, then appreciate you coming back, fam. And yeah, we'll hopefully see you in the next one. Peace.